The first thing I remember when I was a little kid, I always remember going into my grandfather's basement and seeing the pile of decoys sitting on a shelf. And as a little kid, I'd go down there and play with them. It just stuck. That created an image in my head. And we'd go back to Minneapolis or Prior Lake where I lived, and then you'd be away from it for a long time, and then fall came back again, you went and saw Grandpa, and the decoys were there, so you'd go back down and look at the decoys again. Living in the country where we did, there wasn't a lot of things to do, so I'm sure my parents were happy that it kept me busy.
My first impression of Marty was in high school on the bus. Wasn't until his car broke down 2 years later and he had to ride the bus again. And I met him, and then he asked if I wanted to ride to school from there on, and rest is history. What makes me proud of Marty is just the fact that he's true to what he loves. Whether it's the carving, birds, his car, whatever he's passionate about, cooking, you know, he's true to what it is. He doesn't care what anybody else thinks. He's gonna do it his way always. When he started carving, we were lucky because we were young. Money-wise, when it was tight at the beginning and we didn't have a whole lot. We built our house, started out by scratch. We hauled everything over. We didn't have a driveway, so everything was hauled over by boat on it. And then it was too small where it was at, so we had to add on to it. And we've just kept adding rooms ever since.
My opinion, Marty is arguably the best carver, the best contemporary carver of our day. That's my opinion. There's some other guys that are good, great, close, absolutely. But that's, again, it's all in the eye of, of the beholder, and something about his work draws me to that. He's really big on the flats decoys, very hollow, thin bottom boards, and so almost all of his decoys now are made that way. But he takes it to another degree, where most of his flats decoys are very smooth and simple paints and whatnot, and he has carving on them and obviously great paint. Marty's carvings, they're not specific, they're not to any rules. It's his interpretation of a duck, and everyone is different.
I told my husband, Jay, don't trust him. Jay, he didn't listen to me. He went on and met Marty and, became friends, and I guess I liked him after a while. You want the best, you call Marty.
Jay was a commercial fisherman, became a decoy collector, always a duck hunter. Met Jay in St. Charles, Illinois at the National Decoy Show. Eventually, we were spending time together at these shows, and eventually what happened is, he wanted a few decoys, and he says, I want to get these decoys for my club, and he told me all about it, and he asked me for probably 6 to 8 years to come out here. So we started coming out.
Set up.
Okay. I'll follow you then.
Yeah, I'll just hop in the
Have fun today.
Oh yeah.
But I think this line would be all right. So would the other one in this pond. So.
My dad, he was a teacher. He was born in Hayward at the house, at my grandfather's house on, I think it's 4th Street. He loved to duck hunt. My first duck hunting experience was on Nelson Lake, which is, probably 10, 15 miles from where my shop is now. I remember the day. I have a photo of it. Yeah, I was only 69, I would have been 4. But I remember that day. They shot goldeneyes and buffalo. That's all they shot. Today that's maybe not something that we do, but I was always interested in seeing those ducks sitting there and playing with their feathers and looking at the different colors and, looking at their bills. So we duck hunted a lot. He helped a lot. I followed him around a lot. My mother was sick. My mother had ALS and got it early, and we both had a lot of time dealing with her. And he went one way and I kind of went another for a while. So that created a lot of stress, My dad went another way and I went another way, and I just didn't need to deal with it. I was basically taking care of a lot of his situations.
Marty's dad, I think he liked that Marty was carving, liked his carvings and stuff. He's probably was a lot like my dad, though. They're like, what do you mean you're gonna carve for a living? You're never gonna make a living off of that, and he has since shown all of them. You can make a living off of something that you love to do.
I wish he was still here, but it's really hard, Nothing's ideal. You just gotta make the best of it. Do what you can, because you got a short time here.
Speeding.
Take one.
Okay. For the everyday person, fan, someone who doesn't know you, maybe your friend, who is Marty Hanson?
Well, why now is because it's ingrained in me. I think about it every day. There's not a day that I go without thinking of it. And sometimes when I haven't been doing it for a while, or I've been away for doing other projects, I start to need it, because mentally you change a little bit, and when you get back in making something, it just clears up. Everything just becomes clear. You can think better, you feel better. It's just part of me now. I can't imagine not doing it in some form. The thing that I wake up in the morning, I think about it. They think it's just something you do as a hobby. It encompasses my life. It's not just a finished product, it's all of the preparation and the years and years and years it takes to get to this point. It doesn't happen overnight. Everybody wants it to. It doesn't. You know, you have to stick with it. You have to build relationships. Build your product to a point where people really understand it and acknowledge it. I want people to know that there's a lot that goes into this. The way I do it is the way it was done 125 years ago. And that's what I want to maintain. You know, these things last hundreds and hundreds of years, and it's a legacy. I just hope everybody understands what it is. And that I can't control.
So this is an annual event. It's been going on for over 40 years. This is the North American Decoy Collectors Association show, and our company holds a decoy auction, a 2-day decoy auction here in conjunction with this major annual event. Well, I really think Marty's one of the most talented makers of things out there today. And I wouldn't pigeonhole Marty as a decoy maker because, I was sitting in a bar one time drinking beers in Mexico with Marty, and we had a pencil, and the tabletop, it was covered in cardboard. And Marty just doodled out a curlew. And it was like, that's the most beautiful curlew drawing I've ever seen. But Marty has that talent. Marty's just one of the most talented people I've ever met. Well, I think when you start to look at Marty's pieces and the variety of pieces, you can understand what a craftsman Marty is. I mean, the fact that he will spline in a hardwood bill into the head of a duck decoy that's going to be used on the water is something that other people don't do. Marty takes those extra detailed steps to make his decoys and his carvings that much more unique. I mean, have you seen it, the goose that he made, the walking goose?
Who am I? I guess I'm a product of all the things that I've seen in my age, I guess. All the people, different instances, different experiences. It's a hard question, to ask, answer. Sometimes you don't know. Who is Marty Hanson? I've had a year to think about it and still don't know. It's a fabulous question because I've asked several people. They can't answer it either. I'm still stunned just as much as I was about where to even start. I've got a lot of great friends. I've got a great wife. I've had a great life. I've had the opportunity to meet a lot of great people through what I do, decoys. And all those people and all those experiences is, I guess, who I am. Who am I? Decoy maker.